Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Look Forward. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Brad.
I can't believe these fucking Republicans have the gall to run this old ass candidate out here for president. Get the fuck out of here. What are
How
they thinking?
how many years does this old man, months, weeks, does this old man have left? My God, the oldest presidential nominee, Donald Trump. What is he, 100?
Yeah, he might. I mean, he might as well be. He certainly doesn't have it all together. He's certainly in some kind of cognitive decline. He can't string a sentence together. He keeps talking about Hannibal Lecter. Sorry, the late great Hannibal Lecter at all at all his rallies.
Anthony Hopkins is still alive, guys.
So is Hannibal Lecter. He didn't die in Hannibal.
No, but God, that third movie was so bad. Okay, 2 weeks in a row, we are going to have to work our hardest to stretch out stories.
This is the news gods making up for 8 years of like shitting on us and having crazy stuff happens the second after we stop recording. They're like, oh, we're just gonna give you the two biggest fucking political stories of the last 20 years, just consecutive weeks.
Yeah,
let's
enjoy. We'll give you a data research and everything else, and then we're going right in. It's like, all right, holy shit. So yeah, obviously the biggest story is that the current president of these United States, Joe Biden, has decided that he is going to step down.
You thought that was the big story? I thought we were going to talk about the RNC first.
Oh, Hulk Hogan ripped his shirt off. The biggest story of the world. Holy shit, we'll get to that. But Joe Biden has officially stepped down from the race, and so he will not be seeking the re-election, or he will not be seeking the nomination to run for re-election in the 2024 race against Donald Trump. He, of course, immediately knocked down any sort of bullshit and endorsed his current VP, Kamala Harris. Shocking news to anybody without a fucking brain.
It was funny. There was a 15-minute window between him releasing the first letter and then him releasing the second letter. There were two letters that he put out. The first one was to announce that he was dropping out of the race. That didn't mention anything. That was just like thank you for sticking with me and like I'm doing this for the country. This is your thing. And people are like, I can't believe he didn't endorse Kamala Harris. There was exactly 15 minutes for people to freak out, and then the second letter came out where he's like, yeah.
It's like, what was the tweet series that he put out? It was like, I'm sick, and everyone's like, oh my God, of Elon Musk. It was like, yeah. It's like, yeah, delayed. Just kidding. So he did put out a tweet or whatever. He said, my fellow Democrats, I have decided not to accept the nomination and focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president, and it's been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. And then a picture of the two of them walking through the Rose Garden. And the second he did that, you could hear in the distance many ATM machines dispensing cash and flying it over to the Democratic Party. We'll get to it. But as of like today, I guess it was like the full 24 hours, Kamala Harris has raised $81+ million in small donor donation. These are not even the big boys. We'll talk about them a little bit later. But just through
less than a day.
Unbelievable. Breaking the record, by the way. I think the single day record is 70 million. So she broke it by a little over 11 million. Many people, and I don't want to pick on them, but I will, white people swore up and down, white liberals swore up and down that Kamala Harris could not bring the party together. They would not coalesce behind her. Quote, nobody likes her, I saw many times. She doesn't have the support of the party. And literally the moment this tweet came out, every single one of those people was proven wrong, as I knew that they would be.
Little did they know that when people were saying, no, seriously, anybody but Joe Biden, they literally meant it.
Yes. And also, people have already voted for her twice. Like that
is the funny thing, because there's some, and it tends to be more moderate commentators. Weirdly, the noise on this is not coming from the progressive wing of the party, where you would assume that the noise would be coming from.
Yeah, it's been flipped, incidentally.
Yeah, it's coming from the more moderate wing of the party that are just like, oh, like Democrats are making a huge mistake by not having like an open process because it's going to look like they're just gifting her the nomination. I'm like, I don't think you understand. Like, I like not between elected representatives, between party apparatchik, between the voters, just the general vibe of the people out there, like when, looking at social media and stuff like that, I've never seen such coalescence behind a Democratic candidate since Obama. Literally since Obama.
And so fast. I mean,
yeah, like a snap. And I'm not even saying Obama 08. I'm saying like Obama when he was running for re-election, because there were still some hard feelings from the Clinton folks out there from Obama in 08. But like everybody is like behind, like even the same people who in 2019 were just like, she's a cop, we're not going to vote for her. And of course the climate was a little bit different back then because of specific current events and things that were going on. But even people that back then had that stance are just like, oh no, it's Kamala all the way. Like, let's fucking go. We're fucking coconut pilled. We're like, let's make this fucking happen.
Yeah, it's really funny because it turns out when people are actually allowed to gain a level of power and they actually follow through and do the shit that they say they're going to do, and, can give you concrete examples of the things they do, it's amazing how you can move those people who were so fucking sure and they go, yeah, all right, let's fucking roll. It's like, no. I agree, let's roll. But also I need you to also be an adult and go, I was wrong. Like, it is very important to me personally, because I love being right, to point out when they are legitimately wrong, and because you should be able to say, oh shit, I wasn't right about this, and learn that lesson going forward, right? Like, that is important, because one of the things I've noticed, and we'll get into a lot of this in a second, one thing I've noticed over the last number of weeks that is really interesting is people talking about how correct they were about, sort of presidential predictions. And they're like, you guys wanted Hillary and we were right. She was terrible and she lost. Okay, you were right. She lost. Let me ask you a question. Which one of the other candidates or other races recently were you right about? You were right about none of the other ones. Joe Biden was not going to win in 2020, according to these same people, right? Mm-hmm. Obama was likely not going to win re-election in 2012. 2008, it was a historic moment. So they were like, I better get on this train because I don't really want to be the asshole who's not on the train and then the train leaves and then I look like a dick, right?
And also, not to mention, Sarah Palin was a candidate before her time. Turns out she should have probably waited 4 more years, and she would have been right at home.
She would have done a lot fucking better. She probably could have gotten the nomination, honestly, if she had waited maybe like 8 years. Like, I feel like maybe she could have, which is sad in a lot of ways. But they were wrong. And I think, that's not like me trying to dunk on them or whatever, but it is important to understand that these people who have this idea of like, no, these, unless they're an uber far progressive, that's the only people who can win. You're not correct. You're not correct. And look, and I still stand, I'm not going to relitigate it, but I still stand by that 2016 election is a very odd one, considering there is still a lot of shit that's very shady about that election that we never got answers to.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
well, and I still stand by the fact that I've seen a handful of people come out being like, oh, you think a woman's going to win? You saw 2016. I'm just like, again, like, I need you guys to understand, like, when I say that Hillary Clinton was not only a uniquely bad candidate, but was a uniquely bad candidate specifically for that election.
Yes.
I need you guys to understand that's the case. Like, she did not lose because she was a woman. Like, yes, there were some people that obviously didn't vote for her because she was a woman, but I guarantee you that most of those people were probably not leaning towards voting for a Democrat.
Anyway.
Like, even if Joe Biden had run in 2016 or Bernie Sanders, like, they probably would not have voted.
Right. Democrat. I mean, here's the thing. Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris are two wildly different people. They just simply are. Kamala Harris has the benefit of not having 30 years of Republicans making up shit about her, and then sadly that just permeating the entire political space where even Democrats believe it, right? Like she doesn't have that. And that matters. It matters a lot, right? So this idea that she just simply cannot win, I don't think that's true. And I don't think that Joe Biden is the only person who can beat Trump. I just don't. I don't. By the way, even in Joe Biden's state, whatever that is, whatever you think it is, whatever is political theater, whatever is being covered up, I don't even fucking know or care at this point. I still think he could have still beaten him. I do. I think he still could have. Because if they said, all right, we're not going to have any more debates, go fuck yourself, I think he could have beaten him. Because people were the polls, they were like, oh, Trump's up by 2 points. Dude, it's not even August. It's irrelevant.
I think what you would have lost by keeping Biden and what you gain, and if you have not been paying attention to the last 24 hours, like this, proves it out. The excitement's back.
Yeah.
Like fucking Democrats are like have the wind at their fucking backs right now. And I'm not talking about the party. I'm talking about the people. Like I'm talking about the voters. People are legitimately excited again for a candidate for the first time
since 2000.
Almost 20 years. Yeah, like that's and it really was like people were that scared of where Biden was at, and just kind of, again, how many, it's funny, and this isn't on the docket, but it's just funny how it comes around where Nikki Haley mentioned earlier in the year during an interview, she basically said the first party to jettison their fucking 80-year-old white guy is going to win. How pathetic she might end up being,
dude,
in this situation.
Dude, the clip I saw was someone put together all these Nikki Haley statements where she's like, it's either going to be me or Kamala Harris. It's either going to be me or Kamala Harris. It was like 10 different times, like 10 different interviews. And it was like, well, it's not going to be you, so you're probably right. Like, yeah, I think you're in the world of trouble. But this is a unique moment. And I think that it is very easy in the wake of Trump to not quite realize it, right? Because it's like, oh, Biden left and now we have a new person, and like, can she win? The party's coalescing, and like, there's so many other factors. But what is going to start to quiet down is all the noise. And in about a couple of days, people are going to realize, oh shit, we are on the cusp, a very real possibility. Not only the first woman president, but the first black woman president, the first biracial woman president, the first South Asian president. Like, you're in a world of trouble, buddy, because it's all of that, and I want to keep shit the same so I stay out of jail. Not exactly the most inspiring speech, right? And we've already seen this guy, and
we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in a little bit, because we're not on the Republicans yet, but we will be. I don't know how they were, but they were caught flat-footed by it. They're scrambling right now in terms of the messaging, in terms of the plan of attack. Like Trump spent, and again, we'll talk about it later. Trump spent all day yesterday attacking Joe Biden after the announcement was over.
Joe's like, I gotta go to lunch. Who the fuck cares? Yeah. Who cares? Nobody. Go for it. And by the way, one of the things that's really beautiful about this is, look, I'm on record, and you as well, saying the preference would have probably been for Joe to just step down, period, letting Kamala come in as president. But there is something actually slightly genius that we hadn't really thought about.
She's not burdened by being the fucking president for the next.
Dude, she is running as just a straight candidate, and Joe is like, I don't have to go glad hand with anybody. I can just work.
She's awesome. Getting the benefit. She's getting the benefit of incumbency without actually having to do the work of being the incumbent.
Mm-hmm. And that is brilliant. It actually is brilliant in a lot of ways. Yeah. And I just really hadn't thought of that. So, kudos to them for making that move. Before
we look forward, as is the purview of this program, we should take a second to look back on, frankly, and not to fucking glaze, Joe Biden this much, but frankly, like, what a remarkable thing that Joe Biden has done by doing this. Like, he's literally one of three people now to do this in the entire 250 plus year history of the country at this point. Yep. So Washington did it because Washington, they were like, like stay forever. And Washington's like you do understand like the whole fucking point of what we're trying to do here, right?
I got slaves' teeth to steal. I got to get out.
Yeah, I got shit to do. So Washington did it. Truman did it. After he was done his, he could have technically run again because his first term was by way of FDR dying, and then he won an election, and he thought about running again, but he's like, I've had my 2 terms, I'm done. So he left. People also mention Lyndon B. Johnson. That was a bit of a different situation, I feel. And it was a little bit more complicated than just being like, I've had 2 terms and I'm out. And then there's Joe Biden, and that's it. Like those are the guys that have been selfless enough to put the country over their own interests. Because Joe Biden is, for my estimation, of the presidents that we've seen, probably like the most real person that's been in that office. Like as I told you earlier today, like, man, Joe Biden has a really shitty poker face, which is kind of a backhanded compliment, being like, this guy sucks at being a piece of shit. So like he's hard. Even though he's a politician, like you see the guy that Joe Biden is on, he has trouble hiding that part of himself.
Yep, he does.
But despite that, it takes a very healthy amount of ego to run for and be the president of this entire country. And it's even more difficult when you're basically being told by everyone around you. Like Joe Biden wasn't, like, he ultimately made the decision, but this decision was kind of made for him in many ways. And again, you have to understand, like, this is a guy who was basically told to take a back seat in 2016, even though if he had his druthers, he probably would have run, even with the death of his son happening recently to that. And then fucking took the gloves off. He's like, I regret doing this in 2016. I'm fucking doing this in 2020. I'm the guy. And still probably firmly believes to some extent that he was the best guy to beat Trump, even up until the end. I think the only reason that he stepped down is because the conversation shifted from you can't beat Trump to you're going to cost the entire party down the ballot if you stay on. Yeah. And I think that's ultimately what made him reconsider his stance.
There is a, for people who don't know, there is a very big difference between a politician who is no longer in office and a statesman. This is a statesman's move, right? This is a person saying, listen, yes, I could have held on to that power. Now it is my time to step back, let people move forward, right? And dude, like you said, there is a lot of ego that goes into running for president. You gotta be an arrogant motherfucker to think the world is extremely complicated. Everyone should hear what I have to say about it. Like that's a wild thing to say, right? Even I find that level of ego to be baffling, which is, shocking. I know. I'm the most humble person here, as Donald Trump likes to say. The most humble person you've ever met. So I think it is, it should be applauded for a person to be at that level to say, you know what? I hear you. And it is not worth me tanking the party or, God forbid, tanking the entire country. Because this is not a fucking bullshit election, dude. This ain't the difference between Obama and Mitt Romney. This is a very different era we're in.
Yeah.
And to be able to say, you know what? You're right. As much
and we talked a couple.
I got to do it.
We talked a couple episodes ago when we first started talking about this, about how, the danger is, like, if he stayed in and he lost, like, all of a sudden he's RBG'd himself and put a taint on his entire 50+ year political career. Like he literally spent his life dedicated to public service, and to have to put a mark like that on your way out the door would have been rough. Now he gets to go, riding out like fucking John Wayne on the horse riding off into the sunset.
By the way, especially if she wins.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
100%.
dude. Like they might as well just line up Democrats and just have Joe Biden run down the middle, like doing high fives, because nothing will seal his legacy more than the idea of here's a guy who's like a complicated legacy, right? Like he does, and some people like to only point to the things they don't like, but it's a complicated career he had, right? I mean, the Anita Hill thing is a big part of it, like, and you should understand that, and you should acknowledge that. The crime bill is another part of that, but there's a lot of great things that he did across that, right? For him to put the first black woman on the Supreme Court is a big fucking deal, right? Yeah. Don't think that wasn't a like, all right, I know I fucked up.
Make good.
Yeah, that was a fucking mea culpa. Like, my bad. I hear y'all.
I mean, also to don't forget, like, not that Obama like needed Joe Biden to push him into the White House, but to basically stand behind the first black president running and be like, yeah, this is the fucking guy.
This is the dude
who was an upstart, by the way. Like, it's not like Obama had been on the scene for a long time when he was running for president.
No, and him
by a long shot.
No, absolutely. And so, like, being the vice president to the first black president, being the president to the first black vice president. I mean,
and first woman.
First woman vice president, and being the president who appoints the first black woman to the Supreme Court. And now Joe is going to be the person potentially, and is very highly likely to be the person who gave the final fucking push and step back to the first female president, and black woman president, South Asian president, biracial woman president. Like, that is a hell of a legacy for a white dude. I'm just saying, dude, that's not bad. So he has a complicated legacy, and there is something that about those things I named that I want to point out. And my wife and my father-in-law, we were all talking yesterday about this, and I hadn't thought of it. And my God, when I tell you, you're going to realize how fucking dope it is. There is a chance, a real fucking chance, that yes, in 2020, Sonia Sotomayor is a person who swore in Kamala Harris as vice president. There is a chance that if she wins now, the first black woman Supreme Court justice gets to swear in the first black woman president. Dude, come on. Why is that not already a fucking t-shirt? That is an amazing fucking moment. And again, with all the noise that's going down, once that comes down, you have to think about things like that. And that's the type of shit when people go to the ballot, they're going to be like, hell yeah. And that feels like 2008 to me. Like that's what I think as you get closer, people are going to feel that moment of that historic moment, and they're going to want to be a part of that shit. And that's good. That's a great thing right now.
I think that would be historic. Part of me, who's again really petty, wants to like make Clarence Thomas do it just because that would be really
fucking
funny.
Swear me in. Well, but what was it? Was it Alito or not Alito? Who swore in Obama in 2012? Because remember he fucked it up.
Wasn't it Roberts?
It was Roberts, right?
Yeah.
He was just like he pulled a what's the dude from WWE, like, acknowledge me. Do it. Like, wear me in, right? Like, there's part of me, I'd be like, Clarence Thomas, I want you to do it, but I want to be standing on a podium taller than you when you do it. An asshole. But the idea of Ketanji Brown Jackson swearing in Kamala Harris, feels really good.
With Joe Biden in the background, because like you said, he would be absolutely there, handing off there.
I need Joe Biden in the background with just aviators on and an ice cream cone, like, hell. Me.
Jay, I have breaking news that will not be breaking to the people listening to this after the fact.
Lou Dobbs died? We know.
No, but that's, I mean, it's unfortunate that he missed this. I would have really enjoyed him being present for this moment in history.
God damn.
Kamala Harris has secured enough delegates to officially be the Democratic Party nominee.
There you go. They said they wanted to have it wrapped up on Wednesday. Well, it's Monday. Yeah, dude. It's over. The runway is clear. Let's get this shit done. I think they're doing the vote. From my understanding, they're doing the vote like on Oh, I thought it was supposed to be like Wednesday or Thursday.
It was originally supposed to be. They pushed it back because they wanted to make sure that this situation had time to settle for when Biden was still in it. Because I think that they thought that Biden might try to use this to shut the door on any on any potential maneuvering. But no, they pushed it back a week just to give them extra time. So
that's fine. Good. Let's fucking go. All right. So Kamala Harris breaks the largest single day donation record. It's over $81 million, as I mentioned earlier. That again, that's just from the little people, man. Like that's just ActBlue. One of our listeners was like, "Yeah, I tried to donate on ActBlue, but the site was down. They were getting so many donations." I was like, "That is not a bad problem to have."
Which reminds me, I meant to log on today and kick some money out. So
remember. Look, she'll get money from me. I've only donated to one campaign, and that was Obama's. And I bought that Obama birth certificate mug. That was my way of donating. Which, by the way, if you haven't, if you're not terminally online like I am, Republicans are rolling out the birtherism on Kamala because they're like, well, both of her parents weren't born in the United States.
I'm gonna say, except this is like lame birtherism. But at least with Obama, they were like, he wasn't born in this country. Now they're trying to be like, well, yeah, she was born here, but her parents weren't born here. And you're like, yeah, that's
irrelevant.
Like read the Constitution. Like it doesn't matter.
I don't know, bro. It's there, right? Like it's right there. You guys want to end birthright citizenship for a reason, like because if you're born here, you are a citizen. Also, Trump's parents not born in America. Just a side note.
True.
Yeah. So like, what are you arguing? Because if that's your argument, okay, I guess we'll find someone else. Now, by the way, you go find someone else.
Oh man, Donald Trump anchor baby is a line of attack that we never really pursued before.
Yeah, time to dig in. Why is that guy even fucking here? So yeah, that's huge. The 81 million is massive. Let's talk about what Kamala Harris brings to the race that Joe Biden simply could not bring. One, you mentioned this level of enthusiasm. This is a historic moment. No one is enthusiastic about an old white man becoming president. That's sort of the standard. Abortion rights advocate sees Harris as the ideal messenger. Yeah, so apparently the good folks over at like Planned Parenthood, they were just like, yeah, duh. She has a perfect record, and this is the biggest issue of the day. Outside of just like keeping democracy going. And so she is the perfect person. This is a thing that only a woman can speak to uniquely, right? Like Joe Biden's record on abortion rights is damn near perfect too. But the idea is he is still a man. And he cannot.
He's an 80-year-old white Irish Catholic. Like that's a tough position to argue for abortion, bro.
Right? He's like, I don't know, just put a fucking aspirin between your knees. Like, what are we even talking about, old people? What are we even talking about? But she can uniquely speak on this. One, she's a woman. Two, she's a woman of color. Three, she's a woman of color who's not 1,000 years old. Right? Like, so this is still a very, like a very real issue for her and for American women in general, right? So to
run a contrast, by the way, with the whole age thing, because obviously that's another contrast now. Like all of a sudden, the age conversation falls solely on one guy, and it's not Kamala Harris. I was shocked to learn that she was 59. Like I assumed that she was in her early 50s.
I mean, we use lotion, guys. Like it's not a secret. Like, just take care of yourselves. Like, drink some water, for God's sake. Drink some water. Stop being racist. Use lotion. These are black people's skin. That's it. And I mean, and melanin. I mean, that's sorry. Can't really.
I'd say it's a built-in advantage.
It is. I mean, look, if you guys weren't from a different planet, then you wouldn't be having this problem. Just saying. Just saying. Your Coop theory is right. You guys were made in a lab according to a crazy like Nation of Islam theory. It's fucking insane. People really believe that. So yeah, I mean, look, I think she is she is poised to make this issue, as they said, she's there to raise the volume of this issue.
Mhm.
And there's nobody can raise the volume more about women's bodily autonomy than a woman. Like, what is Donald Trump going to say? Oh, they were all glad it was brought back to the States. And she's going to be like, the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, get out of here. No, women are not okay with this. Like, and who are you going to bring out to fight this argument? JD Vance? Like, surely JD has something to say about it. Like, no. So this idea of you kind of fucked yourself because now you don't have someone to counter this argument. You have a woman who can speak to other women very specifically and be like, is it cool that you can go to your OBGYN and get these procedures done and blah, blah, blah. And men are like, well, what's an OBGYN? I don't even understand what those letters are, right? But women understand it, right? Because they deal with it very specifically. And to hear a woman say this and to be on the side of women's rights on this, whether you're conservative or liberal or anywhere in between that, abortion rights and women's reproductive rights is a popular conversation. Like conservative women are like, this is important to me. Liberal women are saying this is important to them. And so if you have a woman saying this, you're in a world of trouble, Republicans, because now there's not this like, well, it's two idiot guys talking about this issue. No, you got a woman talking about it, and women to go, I mean, she fucking right. And she knows.
And the other thing is too, like, Trump and Vance both are going to look like fucking idiots on this issue because their strategy is going to be to talk about, oh, we're not. There's nothing in our campaign platform about abortion because the Republicans took it out of their official platform, which pissed off a lot of Republicans, by the way, that they're not fighting to the health on this,
right?
Yeah, which is very funny to me. But they're going to look pretty mealy mouthed in the face of someone who, again, can unequivocally make the case and point to specific things that Republicans around the states have done to make this an issue. So.
Now, by the way, I'm not speculating necessarily, but I'm just saying this is something that I think maybe Republicans will get completely flat-footed on if this happens to be true. You better fucking pray to whatever God you believe in that she's never had some sort of health issue, women's like health issue. Because if she has, and you're like, we're going to restrict blah, 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 and she's like, this happened to me, and this is why this should not happen to other women, you're fucked. Pack up. The campaign is done. Because every single woman who hears that is going to go, oh shit, I see myself in her. It's a wrap. It's a wrap for you. You better pray that there is nothing in her history where she was like, me and my husband tried to get IVF and we couldn't. And, that was a struggle for us and everything else. And these guys are trying to ban it and blah, blah. You better fucking pray, man, that there is nothing there. Because if she's ever given an interview 15 years ago about it and somebody can go, nah, she said that shit 15 years ago. That's very real. You're fucked. You're fucked. You're fucked. Because then no woman is going to push against it. They're going to be like, look, man, I don't even have to agree with Democrats, but that's a story for women. Will pick up on that. And that is something that women will ride behind, and they should. You just better pray that that's not true, that she doesn't have that in her back pocket.
By the way, as it happens, I have literally earlier today, I happened across an interview from about 8 months ago that JD Vance did, that just happened to be in my bookmarks that I watched again. And he, even back in December, before he was anywhere close to being a vice presidential candidate, he was trying to backpedal away from it because he was doing an interview with Jake Tapper, and Jake Tapper asked him about, like, what do you say to all these Republicans who are out here calling for a national abortion ban and to completely outlaw it or 6-week ban or something like that? And Vance tried to deflect and was like, oh, like no Republican with a brain is out here talking about stuff like that. And Tapper interrupted and was like, I can get you a list of people if you want.
Jeez. Where was that Jake Tapper during the fucking debate?
Yeah.
But yeah. Like, what do you mean nobody? Like, bro, that is 100% the thing that your party is against. They voted against it in Congress.
And by the way, this is why Trump is apparently running now from a debate with Harris. because according to him, having an unbiased ABC with George Slopanopoulos, his words, not a bad nickname, would be putting would be going in the tank for Democrats.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Jesus. You know, he has there's a Wikipedia of all of his nicknames for other people.
I believe it.
That's pretty good. Like, you know what? That's not a bad legacy. Besides all the other garbage that you've put out into the world, having it, like just him just dunking on people was actually kind of funny. Some of them are fairly bad. Slopanopoulos is pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad. That's one advantage, by the way. The second advantage, I never thought that I would ever say this in my lifetime after 2020. It is now a massive advantage that for Democrats to be running somebody who is a literal prosecutor in her past career in this specific election.
Yeah, look, dude, I saw perhaps one of the funniest takes on that. Someone was like, I guess it was like sort of a conservative black person, and they were like, "Yeah, Kamala Harris, she's a cop. She's a cop. Just keep saying it, keep saying it." And someone responded over, "It's like, do you think that's not going to win us suburban white women?" It's like, she's a cop. She locked up people. How many? Oh my God, I think I'm going to vote for her. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? She's a cop. That's going to work great. Like, come on.
And not only that, but like, you know, oh, she's a cop. Yeah, he's a felon. Like he's literally been convicted of committing crimes.
Hella crimes. He's hella into crime. Yeah, no, that looks good. That is a very good contrast. And look, if you think she's not going to run that shit, like,
oh, she already is.
Yeah,
she already is. Like the first ad that she put out after Joe Biden announced this thing.
that was from 2019.
Shit. No. She put out she put out something on Sunday that was like, you know, I was a prosecutor, Donald Trump is a felon. Like I can't remember what it was, but it was something along those lines, essentially, where she was drawing the direct contrast between the two of them.
Good. It's smart money. Like, absolutely. Yeah. Like, I'm an experienced prosecutor. You're an experienced criminal. Look, we have a relationship. Let's get it on, right? So,
and for those of you that have been out here wringing your hands for the last several weeks about Joe Biden's age, prepare to immerse yourself in the I would assume the tonal shift in media coverage that's about to happen towards Donald Trump, as he is now the only old guy that is left in the race.
It's not, guys, not too late.
And by the way, so people compare Joe Biden to how he was 4 years ago and be like, oh, he's definitely slowed down, lost a step. Go watch Donald Trump.
Yeah, dude.
4 years ago compared to today. And 8 years ago, especially compared to today. And tell me that that Trump's not out here, Mr. Low Energy, Mr. Like doesn't quite have the juice as much as he used to anymore, sounds slower, sounds tired, which again, I would expect. He's 78.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely we could see that coming. But without Biden there now as a foil to be able to deflect against, he's going to look pretty fucking decrepit out there next to a Gen Xer. Is she Gen X or is she Boomer? I can't remember.
She might be Gen X. I think so.
So let's see. She's 59. She'd have been born in
64.
I think she's still a Boomer. I couldn't found it.
Okay, Boomer. We're going to bring that one back. No, look, it's the age contrast thing is a good one, and you're right. It does not allow Trump to deflect and be like, "Oh, I'm old. Biden's older." It's like, no, right. You're old, and that's the end of the conversation. You're old.
Well, his campaign smartly never really pushed the age thing because they knew that they didn't have a leg to stand on in that same. Yeah, you're like, oh, this guy's old, but he's 4 years younger. Like, it's not. Like, what are we really talking about here? So they were smart enough to not go down that route, and they figured they would let all the people around them do it for him. Okay. Little did they know that the Democrats would do it themselves, so they didn't have to worry about it so much.
Knifing that old man in the back.
Like I told you guys, the big winner from this weekend was me as my ageist views and platform are now swimming out to the rest of the world. You all can join me in my extreme ageism as I seek to rid the United States government of all octogenarians.
I mean, that's fair. Look, it's either you or Father Time. Like, one of the two of you is going to win. Yeah.
Father Time continues to be the only guy that is undefeated.
100%. 1,000,000. So yeah, it's a good time to be a Democrat. It's a good time to be a Democrat. So let's talk about potential vice presidential choices.
Yes,
this is fun.
Veep Stakes is back, baby.
Yes. Look, I like a good Veep Stakes. I do. All right, so let's talk about it.
So I see 5 legitimate candidates, and we were talking about this before the show. But here's the 5 people that I think who are the most likely to be picked. I think Josh Shapiro's on the list. Yes. I think Mark Kelly is on the list. I think Andy Beshear, who's the governor of Kentucky, is on the list. I think Roy Cooper is on the list, and I think that Pete Buttigieg is on the list. I think those are your 5.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's. Okay, Shapiro, Kelly, Whitmer is out.
Yeah, she declined. So
yes, Andy Beshear, Roy Cooper, Gavin Newsom is out. Wes Moore is out.
Pritzker, I think, fully endorsed her as well. So I think
he did.
Well, I mean, I guess yeah. So.
I mean, Newsom did too, but Pritzker is I don't think is an option. Wes Moore is already endorsed her as well, and Pete Buttigieg. Okay, so let's start with Josh Shapiro. Josh Shapiro, another old. He's 51. Can you believe it? My God. He is a first-time governor of Pennsylvania. And look, I think Josh Shapiro is good. The fact that he won that race against Mastriano is that was a good race. He did very good messaging. I think he is a moderate to slightly progressive guy. That's what you kind of want. He's a white man, so congratulations.
All 5 people that I listed as finalists are all white men.
I mean, come on. I mean, look. I know people are like, Gretchen Whitmer should be the person. I'm like, as the VP, 2 women?
No.
Come on. Like, it's America, okay? Like, I love you, but relax. Like, bro, no. Like, we are very, very, very silly as a country. So Josh Shapiro, I hate to say this, and you and I talked about this offline. There's one reason only that I think he does not work. And it's not his fault. I
think there's 2, by the way, but yours is probably more important than mine.
Well, one, I think, I mean, okay, from a technical standpoint, I would say him being a first-time governor
right.
is a thing. Like, as a normal functioning brained person, that would be my reason for not wanting to take him out of Pennsylvania. Also, like, kind of it'd be good to have that governorship and like keep that secured. Yeah. And with him, I think he's doing a good job, right? So I don't have any issues. By the way, I don't have any personal issues with any of the 5 people listed, right? So my issue with Josh Shapiro, and it's not my personal issue, but the reason I think he does not work is because walking into the potential presidency and vice presidency, you're going to be walking in on a fight about Gaza too. And Josh Shapiro has said, Israel has its right to defend and everything else. And there's nothing wrong with that statement in and of itself by any means. But he will be labeled as a Zionist and, he's the Israeli choice and all this other horrible shit people will say. And they will dredge up Gaza in the Israel fight and make that about their campaign and not about what this guy is as a person. And that's not fair to him. I don't agree with it. It's fucked up, but it will happen. And that to me is the number one reason why he is not likely to get chosen. Just because you don't want to make it about that. And again, if you say in 4 years, could this guy be a potential president, or 4 or 8 years could be a potential president or vice president? I would say yes. But the climate right now in this moment, I think it would be weaponized against him. And again, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that is, there's reality and then there's politics.
I mean, we're going to be evaluating all 5 of these guys based on hard facts, because that's what you have to do. That's what the campaign's going to be doing. For sure. Mm-hmm. Like that, like this is exactly the kind of shit they're going to be looking at vetting who eventually is going to be the pick. So
Right. I'm just for the record, I'm saying that I don't have a problem with the guy, but I'm saying that is something that would be weaponized against him. So,
Yep.
what are your thoughts on Shapiro?
My thing is more he just got in as the governor. He's kind of new to the scene as far as like being a nationally known name. And again, you want to hold down the state. Would he and also like we are well past this point where like it used to be a strategy to pick a running mate that was from a battleground state that you really wanted to win.
Right.
I think that's less important nowadays. I don't like. I think the contest is going to be strong, and I don't think Shapiro tilts it one way or the other in Pennsylvania because regardless of whether you pick him, he's still going to be a voracious fighter for your campaign. Like he's still coming to the rallies that Kamala Harris is going to be at in Pennsylvania. He's still going to be on stage with you, all that stuff. So like, I don't think you need to pick him now. So we're going to talk later down the list about a few people that I think their states are a little bit more important, and they can also speak to more of a regional strategy as opposed to just focusing it on one specific state. Though Pennsylvania is a pretty big fucking like you're going to probably need to win Pennsylvania to win the
absolutely.
So,
yeah. Okay. All right. Next, let's talk Mark Kelly, Arizona senator.
Yeah. Number one in my head, but not number one in my heart, but number one in my head. The more I hear about Mark Kelly and think about Mark Kelly, the more potential pros that I see with him more than anybody else. He's from Arizona. From Arizona, which is a border state. So if you want someone to be able to speak strongly about the state of the border, so if you're worried about that, you could definitely have him go up there. It kind of takes away any advantage also that Trump would get from being able to speak about the attempt on his life, considering that Mark Kelly's wife, former Congressman Gabby Giffords, was literally almost killed in an assassination attempt at a campaign event back in 2011. And she didn't just have a little boo-boo on her ear. Like, she actually was in the hospital for a very long time. Like, that was a very serious incident. If you're newer to politics, you might not have remembered that.
Yeah, she was literally shot in the head. I mean, almost damn near like point blank range. Like, it was fucking insane. And she recovered. Yeah. I mean, thankfully. My God, it was insane.
Yeah. He is one of the more moderate members of the Senate on the Democratic side. I mean, kind of has to be coming from Arizona, but that I think will help kind of ease any potential fears a lot of more moderate Democrats or even some Republicans would have about having someone like Harris as the president, who is a bit more progressive. And also, he just has a coolness factor that can't be matched by any other person because he was a fucking astronaut.
No. Okay. 3 things. Former Navy combat pilot, then an astronaut, and he has a twin brother who's also a fucking astronaut. What the fuck is happening right now? Yeah, dude, this guy. Dude, look, I'm going to tell you right now. Mark Kelly has all the trappings of potentially being a president very easily in the future. Like, if he gets in, like, people are like, I don't know, this guy's a fucking astronaut. Like, this is amazing. And also, if he ever becomes the nominee for president at some point down the road, he absolutely, for no reason but other to just be funny, he should make his brother his VP. It's Mark and Scott Kelly. Which one is really the president, right?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so, yeah, he's legitimately a NASA astronaut and a former combat pilot for the Navy. Look, I agree with you. He is, as far as ticking all the boxes, he's nailing it, man. Like, he's the right age. He's a moderate white man from a border state. He just looks like a white guy you can trust, right? Like, I know white people.
He's got some Eisenhower-ness to him.
Yeah, like he's doing the fucking like the forward fucking thing. You're like, all right, this I don't know, on TV this guy seems to work for me, right? Like, but look, I hate to say this, but like white people watch TV and they go, yeah, that guy, like he's got the thing, right? Like he looks trustworthy to them, right? Again, his story is amazing. He has a wife who used to be a representative, who has this tragedy that happened to her. So he can, like you said, he can speak directly to that. And again, it's a very fucking serious situation. You can read up on it if you don't know about it. and he's from a state, and because one of the big concerns is anytime you pull a senator is, oh shit, are we going to handicap ourselves in the race to keep the Senate? In Arizona, the party of the person who leaves the position has to be replaced by the governor with somebody from that same party, and it doesn't really matter anyway because the governor of Arizona is in fact a Democrat, Katie Hobbs.
Until they have a special election, it's a temporary replacement, and they hold a special election.
It's fine. It's fine. But at least in the moment, you could still get it. And by the way, he also helps to bring on Arizona to the Democratic side, right? That's very good shit. So and look, if she wins, let's say it's him and her, and if she wins, the wind is at the Democrats' back when that special election comes up anyway. So they're already hyped, and people are like, "Oh, we got to make sure we get that seat," and they're going to keep pushing, right? So that's a good thing. I don't have any negatives for him. Like I don't. Somebody said, if you choose Mark Kelly, Scott Kelly, his twin brother, can also do campaigns because no one will know the difference. So that's two senators for the price of one.
You can have it be literally in two places at once.
Right.
Which one's real Mark Kelly? Who can say?
Right. It's a BOGO situation. You buy one, get one free, man. That's awesome. So, no,
my only critique is that he leans more moderate than I would prefer.
Sure.
For a Democratic candidate, but I also understand the benefit of bringing someone in who is that moderate. And it's not like, he's going to undercut the administration. Yeah, he's not going to fucking undercut the administration from accomplishing their goals. Like, that's not the role of the vice president. So.
Yeah. So, I feel like he's a pretty easy choice. And it seems like all the articles are like, why isn't she already picked Mark Kelly? Like, what the fuck are we talking about? This makes all the sense in the world.
Plus two first names, always a crowd pleaser. Like, can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. And look,
hell, that's actually a 4 first name ticket if you think about it.
Yeah, holy shit. Yeah, that was one person. They would definitely be an assassin at some point, right?
That's right.
Yeah, no, but that's good. But also, Harris Kelly is really easy. Like that's it. It boom, is. Boom. It's a simple one. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. I also really like Andy Beshear as well. He's term limited out.
He's
coming
term
up.
limited out. So this guy who's a Democrat who ran for statewide office in the same state that has elected several times both Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul to represent them in the United States Senate. This guy ran for governor twice and won both times in Kentucky. A blue ass state.
Right. And he's the one who expanded healthcare to Kentucky, like the ACA to Kentucky. Like he's got really good qualifications. Like he's very, very good. He is a very white looking man, which is again very good for middle America. He's got a good track record. And not only that, he has a pretty high for what you would expect for Democrat. He's got a very high favorability with Republicans in Kentucky, right? Yeah. Like,
and he's done this without really compromising on his personal principles. Like again, he's definitely a moderate Democrat. It's not like you're going to be fucking AOC winning the governorship of Kentucky twice, but it's not like he's had to change who he is from a policy standpoint to placate and kowtow to to get elected. Like he's weirdly been like the Larry Hogan of Kentucky in some ways, like Bizarro Hogan.
Bizarro Hogan. We'll talk about Hogan later. Different Hogan.
Yeah, we will.
But yeah, so he's won there twice as governor, and he also won in 2015 to their attorney general race, right? Like this guy has won three major races in Kentucky.
Yeah,
it's insane, right? So that there's something about that guy that is very appealing to even some conservatives, which is maybe a good thing.
Now the negatives is I think even if you bring him in, you would specifically bring him in to try to pick off a couple states that you wouldn't normally win otherwise. And even bringing him in, I don't think you get that in this.
You're not getting Kentucky. right? Like, so,
and you're not going to get Ohio either.
No.
Like you bring him in
Ohio is
maybe to make a play at Ohio. I don't think you get Ohio
No.
with him. Maybe he helps cement you in Michigan, but I think Michigan, Wisconsin might be a little too far north to really get the benefit from an Andy Beshear. And you're certainly not getting anyone to his south. Maybe he helps you pick up a couple of the districts in Iowa, because their electoral college votes are split. So maybe you can peel off an extra one or two of those.
Right.
But again, like that's really helping on the margins. So I don't. There's not a real benefit that you get from Andy Beshear. I don't.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. Look, again, it's not that I don't think he would be a good choice. Like, if she came out and was like, it's Andy Beshear, I'd be like, that's fine. Like, it's not offensive. But I think there are better choices. And I think it is obvious that we also think that, as far as it being Mark Kelly. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper. This is a really unfortunate image of him. It looks like he doesn't have teeth.
It makes him look very bushy in this image,
yeah, it really does. Wow,
like a combo of George and Jeb.
Please clap. Cooper is 67 years old. He's term limited out. He was state's attorney general for 16 years. He was also in North Carolina Senate. Apparently, Jim Clyburn had floated Cooper's name as well. He's a guy that I would keep my eyes on if I were the guys in the media. Look, I don't know much about Roy Cooper. I've only seen a little bit of him as far as people talking about him. Look, North Carolina is going to be an important pickup. I'm not going to lie about that. I'm not so sure that you need Roy Cooper to do it.
No, I think Mark Robinson is doing a pretty good job of alienating even moderate Republicans from voting Republican on that ticket.
100%. By the way, not to be an asshole, but prepare to be probably deeply offended by something Mark Robinson says about Kamala Harris within T-minus 3 days.
Oh, we're not at the Republicans talking about Kamala Harris story yet. We'll get there. I've got a good one for you that I didn't hear until tonight, and I don't know if you've heard it yet.
Is it the Sebastian Gorka one? Because that was pretty good.
Nope. Oh. The Kellyanne Conway one. Have you heard the Kellyanne Conway one?
I have not. Oh, this will be good.
Good. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
All right. And then look, the person who is 100% the choice in our hearts, but not in our heads. Yes. The man, the myth, the transportation legend, Pete Buttigieg. Look, he ticks all the boxes. He doesn't necessarily pull any states, but I think he gets he affects the Midwest in a way, like in a general way, right?
Yes. And he helps blunt any potential advantage that Republicans might gain in the Midwest with picking Vance as their vice presidential candidate.
And who don't want to see Pete debate JD Vance?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Like you know, dude, even if they pick Mark Kelly, can you just let Pete Buttigieg tag in for the debate?
Yeah, just let him sub in, dude, because he's gonna fuck him up.
Rough up JD Vance a little bit.
Pete Buttigieg would do it for free. He's like, look, just time and place, motherfucker. Let's go. I saw a clip from him on Bill Maher, and he was just fucking dunking on JD Vance. I was like,
oh yeah.
He's like, choose me, please. Just let me be your advocate.
I mean, and again, Buttigieg, he's part of the administration. He has executive branch experience, not only in this administration, but he was the mayor, of course, of South Bend, Indiana. And he's former military, which is, big fucking deal as well to these people. And also he is gay, of course, which would be enormously consequential, being the first LGBTQIA plus person to hold the vice presidency in United States history.
Yeah.
If you want the progress ticket, that's the progress ticket.
That's the progress. That's the we're not fucking around. That train is moving forward. And Pete helped.
And I think of anyone in the Democratic Party, period, aside from Barack Obama, he is the number one going away best messenger, communicator,
100%.
at being able to talk about your ideas, and he's not afraid to go into the lion's den to do it. He would be all over Fox News during this campaign.
Yep.
Just fucking coming out here and dunking on these folks.
Do you remember there was a couple of months there where they just kept booking him on Fox, and you're like, we're gonna fuck Pete up, and then every time they're like, fuck, we shouldn't have invited this guy. Like, god damn it. Like, how is he so smart? Like, yeah, dude, he's really fucking good at this. But the obvious thing is here, which is because he's gay, it's too much for middle America, right? A black woman, a woman, and a gay dude. Like, he's married to another gay dude and they have children. Holy shit. Like, it would be too much. And again, they would make it about that and not about his views on politics, not about what he is saying, but about all this other shit. God forbid what the fucking insane, gross rhetoric would be around him and his family. And I don't want to imagine what that's like. We saw a little bit of what it was like when he ran the last time. And sadly, it's just, that's too many things all at once for him. And that's not fair. And look, the country will get there. But I think the way it gets there is Pete is at either the top of the ticket going in the future, or he's the vice president where the other person is just like, boring white man, right? Like, you could have a Gavin Newsom, Pete Buttigieg too. Like, and not that Gavin Newsom is like boring, but Gavin Newsom is a white man with a white wife and a bunch of white kids. And people go, all right, that sounds good to me. And then it's like, oh, and he's got a gay vice president. Like, who cares? Let's not talk about it. Or Pete is at the top of the ticket and it's like, progress, motherfucker. And then here is a boring white guy behind me. So you guys feel good. And it's like, all right, cool. He's gay, but he's got like a straight guy behind him and he's got straight kids and everything is fucking great. Right. It's like, that's what America needs. Like, we always have to like have progress with a person that's like a slight boat anchor kind of. Yeah. Right. But there's going to come a time where having a black president, man or woman, or having a woman, or a gay person, or anybody in the LGBTQ plus community at the top of the ticket, and everything we have run the gamut of all of the things, and so we can just start making real teams that we've always wanted to make, right? Like, we could start, like fan casting this shit. It's like black woman, Asian dude, like we can do that, or Asian guy, also Asian woman, holy shit, 2 Asian. Like, you can still do it because eventually we have just run out of the first X and the first Y. And so once we get there, then we can do those things. But until then, it's always going to have to be progress, boat anchor, and eventually we'll get there. But I do think that a lot of people really shit on Pete as like this, I don't know, like weird, like they're like, he's an insider. I'm like, the mayor of South Bend, Indiana. Okay. They're like, he's got this company he's working for and, or working with that are like this tech company. And that's the reason why he's winning all these votes. I was like, that seems to not be true at all. That was dumb. All this conspiratorial stuff when he ran. But I think a lot of that has really fallen to the wayside. People go, oh, this dude is like the real fucking deal. And again, it's amazing when you give people a real chance and they can show you who they really are. And
and that's the thing. Like, if you were to like fucking Pepsi challenge Pete Buttigieg and just like list out his accomplishment, and again, keep in mind the dude's 42. Like it's not like he's been around that long to achieve as much as he achieved. But if you fucking did the Pepsi challenge with Pete Buttigieg and just listed his accomplishments against that of these other 5 guys, you'd be like, oh, I definitely want this fucking guy. He was in the military. He'd be in the top 2. The mayor. Like he's in the cabinet. Yeah, like let's fucking go. And again, to your point, the only reason that you wouldn't pick him is because it's too much change too fast for people to cling on to, which fucking sucks.
It does.
It would be awesome to have the fucking Harris Buttigieg progress toward the future fucking campaign.
I mean, look, what I will say is that is a very difficult ticket for the average middle American to swallow, because they are ridiculous.
But
if she did it, I'd be like, ooh, that's scary. But I'm all the way fucking in, dude. I'm all the way in because then
and again, you really want to light a fire under Gen Z and under millennials to fucking get out there and fucking get the vote out. Like, hey, like this is literally the most diverse presidential ticket in the history of fucking America.
You ain't never no shit like this. Look, you may never see it again. Okay, like get your happy.
Yeah, if you don't vote, you're definitely never going to see it.
Oh, hell, this is illegal going forward, right? So,
right.
If she did it, I would be incredibly impressed. I'm like, holy shit, you're going, because that means that you think your presidency isn't about keeping shit the same. Like if that choice, his choice, or her choosing him would signal something that is very rare in politics, which is, oh, when I said I was a progressive, I wasn't fucking around, right? Because you don't take this risk unless you really, really need to go for it. I think it's more likely she picks one of the other people on the list, and that's fine. That's fine. Mark Kelly would be my choice, and that would be fine. It would be more than fine. I would be super happy about it, actually. But I look, in my heart, I got to tell you, if she picked Pete Buttigieg, my initial reaction would be like, all right, we're doing it. Like, let's fucking go, man. But I think you're right.
my initial reaction would be, here's more money. Take more of my money.
No. I'm not mad about it. But my initial reaction is a very real one, which is, what the fuck is going to happen for middle America, right? Like, not the people on the coast who actually talk to gay people, right? Like they're fine. But all these people, especially in the middle of the country, who are really indoctrinated to hate gay people for no reason, right? It's scary, right? But that would be my initial reaction, like, oh, what are we gonna do? But I gotta tell you, that lasts for 4 seconds, and then the hype train has fucking left the station. Dude, Gen Z, whatever the other fucking millennials and all this other Gen I, whatever the fuck is left over, they would be hyped, especially Gen X, our generation, or my generation, because our biggest fight in our generation was gay marriage. That was our biggest fight. And we saw that shit, we're seeing that shit get trashed, potentially get trashed, right? It would drive people to be like, all right, this is it feels like, all right, this is the final fucking fight of this shit, right? And I could see people getting incredibly hyped for it. I'm not saying to do it, but I am saying that, God damn it, it'd be amazing to see you do it. Like it would. Like if the country's gonna get destroyed, go out with a fucking bang, right? Just fucking go for it. But at the same time, I understand why you wouldn't, and it's literally the only reason I personally, if I were her, I would not choose him. And it's not because of his policies or anything like that. It's solely because there's a shit ton of bigots in there.
I mean, it's you want to be safe. It's and politics, unfortunately, it's a safe game. It has been and always will be, especially in a two-party political system where it's very difficult to make really big swings.
Yeah, 100%. Now here's the thing. You want to make a big bold move?
I'll do it.
You pick Mark Kelly as your VP. You win Pete Buttigieg. You upgrade his ass, right? Like you're like
Secretary of Defense,
Secretary of State.
Well, Secretary of State would be good too.
That's it. Look, that's a nice. Here's all this experience you get, Pete. Now you go do that, and then you go write your ticket whenever you're ready, right? Yeah. So, yeah, you could just be like, look, Secretary of State, it's cool, everything's good. You did great the first 4 years. Step aside, slide over, Pete. This is all you. So you never know, and it'll be interesting to see if Kamala wins, and I have a lot of faith in her. What she does with the cabinet? Does she keep the cabinet exactly the same, or does she do a little bit of shifting around? That'd be interesting.
I think some people would
we've never seen that before.
Yeah, I think some people would stay, and some people would be asked to not stay, or you'd line some people up to replace them. So you don't want to deplete all the Democratic talent out of the states.
No, of course not. But
by the way, and think of how cool it is that we just blitzed through 5 legitimate, tangible vice presidential candidates, all of whom would be solid picks on this ticket. And the fact that there are 4 more people in the article that we're referencing here that we did not choose who also would be fucking fantastic vice presidential or presidential candidate, and get really excited about the fucking deep bench that this country has. And again, the list that we're talking about, this is all like governors and maybe two senators. That's not talking about people in the House. That's not talking about people, you know, that could make some noise down the road. Democrats are in a good fucking position in the future. Look, and then look at who Republicans have as the next man up in their party. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, people like that.
Matt Gaetz. Face pulled as tight as a fucking snare drum at the RNC. Jesus Christ. Good Lord. Like, dude, what is going on? Why don't you inject the Botox directly into my eyeballs? Like, bro, you look fucking bonkers. Okay, that's the end of the free portion for this week's episode of Look Forward. Make sure you go to lookforwardshow.com/premium. Sign up for premium content. It's only $5 a month or $50 for the full year.